Hello and welcome to another edition of Snubbed. This is number 21. I'm recording on March 1st, 2026, and I just finished watching The Big Sleep. The Big Sleep is a 1946 American film noir directed by Howard Hawks. William Faulkner, Lee Brackett, and Jules Furthman co-wrote the screenplay, which adapts Raymond Chandler's 1939 novel. The film stars Humphrey Bogart as private detective Philip Marlowe and Lauren Bacall as Vivian Rutledge in a story that begins with blackmail and leads to multiple murders. Initially produced in late 1944, the film's release was delayed by more than a year because the studio wanted to release war films in anticipation of the end of World War II. The cut was released to servicemen overseas in 1945, shortly after its completion. During the delay, Bogart and Bacall married, and Bacall was cast in Confidential Agent. When that movie failed, reshoots of The Big Sleep were done in early 1946, meant to take advantage of the public's fascination with Bogey and Bacall. Big Sleep was finally released by Warner Brothers Pictures on August 31st, 1946. The film was a critical and commercial success and led to two more Bogey and Bacall films by Warner Brothers, Dark Passage 1947 and Key Largo 1948. In 1997, the original 1945 cut was restored and released. That same year, the U.S. Library of Congress added it to the National Film Registry. Howard Hawks also produced this. Cinematography by Sidney Hickox, edited by Christian Nyby. Music by Max Steiner. Produced and distributed by Warner Brothers. Release dates August 23rd, 1946 in New York. As I mentioned, August 31st, 1946, the rest of the U.S. And a runtime of 114 minutes for the release cut, 116 minutes for the re-released original cut. Production under writing, The Big Sleep is known for its convoluted plot, similar to Have and Have Not. There was no finalized script during filming due to the constant changes during production. Composition of the screenplay involved Hawks and three writers. They each wrote alternating sections of the initial draft before exiting once they turned in their final draft. Principal photography on the film took place on the Warner Brothers backlot from October 10th, 1944 to January 12th, 1945. Filming was meant to be completed in late November, but was continually delayed due to Bogart's increased drinking. He was in the process of ending his tumultuous marriage to his wife, Mayo Methot, following his affair with Bacall during To Have or Have Not. And as a result of his drinking and abuse from Methot, Bogart was unable to work for several days. When Jack Warner heard that, in spite of this, the cast was getting along, he sent this ribbing memo. Word has reached me that you are having fun on set. This must stop. Contemporary reviews. At the time of its 1946 release, Bosley Crowther said the film leaves the viewer confused and dissatisfied, points out that Bacall is a dangerous-looking female who still hasn't learned to act, and notes, The Big Sleep is one of those pictures in which so many cryptic things occur amid so much involved and devious plotting that the mind becomes utterly confused. And to make it more aggravating, the brilliant detective in the case is continuously making shrewd deductions, which he stubbornly keeps to himself. But with two interlocking mysteries and a great many characters involved, the complex of blackmail and murder soon becomes a web of utter bafflement. Unfortunately, the cunning scriptwriters have done little to clear it. The end. Okay, so I've said before, I haven't really loved some of the stuff I've seen Bogart in. Obviously, Casablanca is great. I didn't like The Maltese Falcon, though I do think that I owe it another chance because at the time, I think in my review, I said that I was, we watched it kind of late at night and I was tired and didn't really pay attention that much. And this one, so this was available on Daily Motion. It was free. And I've never seen this on Daily Motion before, but it had ads and they were quite frequent. They were relatively short, 30 seconds to a minute. They were quite frequent and abrupt. So it would just cut into an ad and then cut back, which was very distracting. In addition, I had to keep stopping for other various reasons. So, again, not able to give it maybe the attention that I should have, but I really liked this movie much more than The Maltese Falcon. It was, sometimes the film noir, the rat-a-tat dialogue I don't love it all the time. In this one, it kind of worked. Bogart was a little more charming in this one, I think, than he has been in some of the others I've seen, and had some really good lines. Uh, and one thing, this is a little kind of crass to say, maybe, but every woman they cast in this was just a smoke show. And obviously, Bacall is beautiful, but every other actress, like the girl that played her sister, there was a girl that played just like a bookstore clerk. She was gorgeous. And like every single woman that popped up in this, I was like, what the hell? Did they just like go to central casting and just get the most beautiful women they could? But anyway, I digress. Uh, it was very confusing. And, I was here thinking that because I had to keep stopping and starting and because of the ads, maybe I wasn't following along that well. As it turns out, I guess others have been confused by it too. But it was kind of fun. I gave it 4 stars. I wouldn't say it's perfect. It drags a little bit in places. It's not quite 2 hours. It's a little long in that respect. And again, with the ads added to it, I mean, it probably took me 3 hours to watch this movie because of the ads and because of stopping and starting. So that sometimes makes the movies feel longer, obviously, than they are. So maybe I'm being too harsh on that saying it drags, but it just felt a little draggy in places for me. So it was very good though. Now, the only other note I wrote down was that the Max Steiner music, and I do feel like this is a thing with him, is that it's a bit heavy-handed at times, especially in dramatic moments. It gets really loud and really intense, and while that can be good, it is very film noir in this one, but it just was a little much at times. So not necessarily bad, just a little bit over the top at times. So again, not a perfect movie, but 4 stars, pretty good. So 4 stars. So I have a new ratings chart for the snubbed movies. I don't know if I've talked about this before. Right now, my average rating for the snubbed movies, all of them overall, which is 21 movies, is a 3.3. For the 1920s, the average was 2.7, 1930s, 3.6. So far, the 1940s, a 3.0. Specifically, by year for the 1940s, 1940, 3.0, 1941, 1.5, 1942, 3.5, 1943, 3, 1944, 3, 45, 3, and 46, 4. Now, when I say average, all of those years only had one movie. So it's not really an average. It's just whatever I gave that one movie. But starting next year with the 1947, we start to get into some years where I will be watching more than one movie. So it will be a little bit more of an average in some cases. But for the most part, it's not really an average. It's just one movie being reviewed. So the average kind of comes into play for, the decade more so, or the decade and then overall more so than year by year. Do I think this was snubbed? I do. I do think it was snubbed. Now, again, as always, there could be other movies that came out in 1946 that are better than this that were also snubbed. This is just the one I have on my list. So I'm, not discounting that there could be other better movies deserving of an Oscar or at least a nomination. But I did not like The Yearling and I did not like Henry V. I gave them both 3 stars because I didn't necessarily think they were bad movies. They just weren't movies for me. The Yearling, as I said in the last one, did not deserve to be in this round of Oscars. Would I put The Big Sleep over it? Sure, I would. Would it have won? No, probably not. But again, I just don't think The Yearling belonged in this round at all. So that said, I do think it was snubbed. And one last thing I want to note from the last review, I gave The Best Years of Our Lives 4 stars. Today I was thinking about it and I bumped that up to 4.5. Like it was a very good movie. And I think I knocked it down a little bit because it was so long, but I don't know that it deserves a full star drop for that. So I bumped it up by a half a star. So 4.5 for that one now. In case you were wondering. You weren't. Anyway, back to the snubbed movie. Yeah, so I do think that The Big Sleep may have been snubbed here. And I'll just leave it there. I'll see you next time for the 1947 nominees.